welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. Today's episode will be dealing with senior living environments and how the Amazon Echo can be a boon to activity directors and the like, or for perhaps the senior in your life that maybe you're caring for or helping out with, trying to keep safe and keep informed and all those different sorts of things that the Echo could possibly help out with. So we'll be talking about that in this episode. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of those details, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Welcome back. We'd like to welcome you for the very first time if you're a new listener to our podcast. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, where I teach a lot of different topics, tablets, smartphones, computers, and the Amazon Echo. We did a lot with seniors in our community with multiple grants, close to $40,000, maybe $50,000 in grants for buying and training seniors in our community and activity directors in the use of the Amazon Echo. And that's in the Southwest Virginia and the Roanoke Valley area and the surrounding municipalities. Now, in particular, if you've been listening before, we'd like to say thank you. And you might notice that we're kind of bringing a lot of the older content into this episode. And if you want to find out more details about some of these specific things, you might want to delve back into some of the older content. Now, as a rule, most of our stuff is we try to keep evergreen. And we try to keep it really nuggetized, 5 to 10 minutes. So anyway, if you're new, you just thought I'd give you a heads up about that. Now, before I start describing this stuff in detail and saying the A-lady name, I'm going to say the A-lady name. So what I would recommend is if you have an Echo that's in the sound of my voice, you'll probably want to shut her ears off so that when I say her name, I'm not triggering your Echo at home. And now if you're listening on your Amazon Echo to this, you should be fine. You don't need to shut her ears off. But if you have another Echo in listening distance, you might want to shut her ears off. So there's a button on the top with a silhouetted microphone and a slash through it. You'll want to press that, and that will shut her ears off and make a thump sound. I even have mine shut off here in the classroom already, or my studio here, just so that that doesn't happen right now. All right, so I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, hopefully everybody's had a chance. If you have an Echo with a screen on it like the show, it's the button on the far left if the screen is facing you. It's on the top. Okay. All right, so senior living environments. Like I said before, we, with the New Vision program at Goodwill, had the privilege of receiving a number of grants, at least 2 grants, along with our own support of the program and grant, to buy Amazon Echoes for seniors in the community, 55 and older, and help them set it up, connect it to their own Wi-Fi at home. We placed many at assisted living homes so that in their individual rooms and stuff, people would have access to an Echo. And we also, in this latter part of the program, placed the Echo show with many activity directors that are at these assisted living homes, nursing homes, and the like. And that way they could put it in the activity room and do a lot of cool stuff. So for you activity directors, this episode's kind of really geared in many respects to you, but anybody with a senior in their life might find it beneficial. So, oops, I hit the bump there. But in particular, assisted living home environments and nursing homes, activity directors have used it for many different things. One for games and music. That's a big thing. Other things I never would have thought of, like it's in a public space. It's a tremendous asset. Maybe a lot of seniors in that environment may have diminished eyesight and the like. They can walk by the Echo, especially has a screen on it, the Echo Show, and it might be showing them the next calendar event. By the way, bingo is going to be at 1 o'clock, or lunch is in 15 minutes. You can have photos going through it with activities that have been taking place. You could take a photo of the menu for that week and stick it on the main page. So it can act like a digital picture frame in that respect. Also, while it's in the public spaces, you can have it playing music or news throughout the day. And this is probably one of the cooler things. It can act as a PA of sorts, like a public PA. So, for example, if you had several distributed across the campus or in different activity rooms, and you're got a little Echo Dot back in your office as an activity director, you could say, "Hey, lady," you could say, broadcast or announce, yada, yada, yada. We're going to be playing bingo in 15 minutes, and it would go across all those echoes at the same time. Also, you can do something really cool and think of it as an automated PA. You can set up repeating reminders. Now, a repeating reminder could be every day at 9 a.m. It goes ding, ding, ding. Breakfast is over in 15 minutes. If you want to get something to eat, you got to get it quick. Or it could go ding, ding, ding. Our first activity will be in 30 minutes. I have many activity directors who say people are constantly asking them when's dinner, when's lunch. You could have the Echo set up for every 30 minutes or every hour to go ding, 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 lunch is in 2 hours. Ding, 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 lunch is in 1 hour. Ding, 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 lunch is in 15 minutes. And you can set up individual echoes of different things. So if they're on different floors, they can announce different things. You can have it connected to your activity calendar on Google or Microsoft or any digital calendar. And that way it just automatically feeds information off of that. So that's pretty cool. Also, there are wall mounts for Amazon Echoes and Shows. So you can actually mount them to the wall if you're worried about them getting stolen or damaged or something like that. You can mount them on walls with locking bolts and the like. You can turn on content filtering. I think out of the box it's already on, but that will help avoid anybody from seeing images or anything that would be inappropriate or queuing up some sort of video. They can play music. You have free music options like Pandora. It'll pull radio stations, so you could say play WFXR radio, or a lot of times if it knows your geography, you could say 89.1, and it'll be able to figure that out. So pretty cool that you can do all of that, and that would be free. I mean, that Pandora and the like, or a local radio station would be free. I've had students that love to hear the radio station from where they grew up, or some country western station they don't have around here, and so you could look that up. So that's pretty cool that you could do that. I mentioned games earlier. I've had a lot of students and activity directors have their Echoes and use them to play mental games like Guess That Song from the 1960s or the 1950s, and they can play against other people on the internet. And other cute stuff like that that's pretty cool. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, there is an Alexa for Business feature, and I haven't looked into the program in a long time, but it can allow different functionality and tightening down the bolts of what can and can't be done, and you're not using it more in a consumer fashion. And so you might want to look into that. It was a little expensive last time I looked into it, but it might be an option. They might offer some sort of discounts for institutions like nursing homes or assisted living homes. Now that finally gets to video conferencing and other things like that. So if you had an activity, say a workshop on good diabetes practices, how to regulate your blood sugar, and the foods that you should eat and not eat. Let's say you filled the room out with 10 people, but across the campus at another building, you have people that wanted to tie in. Boom. All you have to do is set up an Echo Show in that room, an Echo Show in the other room, tie those across as a video conference, and that way your subject matter expert that's come to give the discourse can be heard in both locations. Or maybe you have family members that are in the same senior living environment, but they want to talk to somebody else in a different building. Or family members at home, especially when the shelter-in-place rules and the pandemic right now, they may not have seen their own family members in months. And that can be very stressful. So the Echo Show could provide an opportunity for them to do video conferencing. Now, if you want to find out more about that, you can look back at past episodes where we talk about Skype and other things like that. And music and games, we talk about a lot of those things in the past. All right, so in our next episode, that'll kind of bring this episode to a close. Didn't really have much to demo there. But that kind of brings this episode to a close. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things I forgot to mention, but that kind of gives you a nice rundown of how I've seen it being used in these kind of environments. In our next episode, we'll be talking about video conferencing in more detail for assisted living environments. And so I did touch on that briefly, but we'll talk about it a little more in depth in our next episode. But until that time, it's time to practice some of the many things that you've been learning. Turn that microphone back on and start trying out the things that we've been talking about. But I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, signing off, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision. with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.